But here's what I came up with this morning when I assigned myself the task of thinking through the debt ceiling situation on the assumption that Joe Biden and Steve Ricchetti, who is the president's most experienced negotiator on the debt ceiling, know exactly what they're doing, and they're doing it for good reason. So with that as my guide, I noticed that Joe Biden insisted for months that he was not going to negotiate on the debt ceiling, but he would be willing to engage in the normal budget negotiations with Congress that he has to participate in every year. Now Joe Biden is engaged in a negotiation over the debt ceiling and the budget at the same time. And Kevin McCarthy is calling that a victory. Just the negotiation he's calling a victory. Jake Sherman reports on what Speaker Kevin McCarthy told Republican members of Congress this morning behind closed doors. He said, "I need you to all hang with me on the debt limit." That is the most important thing he said. He desperately needs the Republicans to support him on the debt limit, and Kevin McCarthy knows that close to half of the Republicans in that room are functionally crazy when it comes to governing, so he has to speak to them very, very carefully. And he said, "We are nowhere near a deal yet." And that's what they always say until it's an hour before the deal. Then he said, "I've told the president three things. First, no clean debt limit." Well, we already knew that. That's why there's a negotiation. And there's Kevin McCarthy this morning trying to get credit from the crazies in his party that he told President Biden no clean debt limit. And he told the president no raising taxes. We already know that, too. We've known that all year. So those first two of the three things Kevin McCarthy said mean absolutely nothing. And that's how he's playing tough with the Republicans in the House, trying to appear tough to them, to get up there and say he's demanding these three things of the president, and the first two don't mean a thing. And the last one was simply, quote, spend less money. That is the softest possible formulation of a Republican demand to cut spending that he possibly could have said. Spend less money. Not cut domestic spending by 25%. Nothing drastic in that phrase. Spend less money. And then Kevin McCarthy told his Republicans, remember where we were. They refused to negotiate. Kevin McCarthy wants credit from the crazies in his party that he got Joe Biden to negotiate. He wants them to think just having the negotiation is a victory. And Joe Biden has handed them that victory. And Kevin McCarthy needs them to think that having the negotiation is a victory, because Kevin McCarthy knows he's not going to be able to obtain from Joe Biden anything close to the demands of the crazies in the Republican Party. Kevin McCarthy then said, they made a mistake not to negotiate. Let's stay strong together. And then Jake Sherman tells us that Kevin McCarthy also showed a video with a chronology of Democrats saying they wouldn't negotiate. In other words, Kevin McCarthy spent that meeting stressing to his Republican members that they already have a victory just because they have a negotiation. Joe Biden gave them that negotiation, and he gave up nothing in giving that negotiation.